Hi, I'm Elizabeth at the Radford Public Library with What's New in Books. And what's new to us is this new book titled One Good Mama Bone. It's written by Bren McClain and it came out in 2017. We recently acquired several copies of this for a book club that was reading this book, and I'm so glad that I read it. I listened to it through Overdrive, and it is narrated by the author. It was also great to pick up the physical book because the narrations are in different font depending on the narrator, and I missed that entirely when I listened to the reading of the book. But this is a beautiful book about a hardscrabble life for a woman in rural South Carolina. The story as it opens is a woman is assisting another woman who's giving birth. It turns out the main character, Sarah Kramer, becomes the not biological but mother, assigned mother of a little boy. And this little boy truly belongs to her best friend and her husband. So this child is the product of an affair. But after the boy is born, the mother, her best friend, dies, and the husband eventually also dies, leaving Sarah Kramer, who is our wonderful heroine in this book, to raise this little boy. And the title comes from the main character, Sarah Kramer, being told from a very early age that she didn't have one good mama bone in her, meaning that she wasn't fit to ever be a mother, which is something that scarred her pretty much for life. And you will learn if you read this book that Sarah Kramer has more maternal instinct and more heart than just about any other character I can readily think of. This story takes place in the 50s, 40s, and 50s. It's set, as I said, in rural South Carolina. And Sarah Kramer, after being left by her husband after he dies, she has no money and very little means to make money, and she's basically starving, as is her child. She's very creative, she's full of fortitude, she sews dresses and sells them to people, but she gets this idea when she sees an article about a young boy who won a competition. And that competition is for, uh, it's called the Fat Cattle Show and Sale. And it's to win money. It's kind of a 4-H competition of steers. So she gets it in her mind that if she can buy a steer for this little boy of hers, whose name is Emerson Bridge, on whom she dotes, and that he can then have some comfort in the loss of his father by having this creature as a friend, and then also learn how to raise this creature so he will become a big strong steer and will win this competition that yields almost $700, which in the 50s is quite a fortune and just what Sarah Kramer and her son need in order to be able to eat and to dress warmly and properly. So that's the crux of this story. Along the way, there are many hardships. Again, this family in particular is poverty stricken, and you will meet other characters who are as well. You will also meet characters who are just vile, some of them wealthy, some of them not. And there are so many obstacles in Sarah Kramer's life, not the least of which is her mother. And then, poverty and not really having means to make money. But she does receive on occasion some great kindness. And I loved this story. I didn't honestly at first because I just knew it was going to be heart wrenching and I wasn't sure I could shore up to make it through. But I'm so glad that I did. I think this author says so much about mothering, also parenting, and also nature, and the bond that this little boy forges with this steer is impressive, as well as the mother of the steer that Sarah Kramer buys finds her way to her baby, and Sarah also ends up acquiring the mother to her child's steer. And that mother is Mama Red, and she often talks to Mama Red and confesses things about which she is greatly ashamed to Mama Red. And in some ways, she learns more about parenting from Mama Red. It's a wonderful story. This is published by Pat Conroy's publishing company. There's a beautiful foreword by Mary Alice Monroe at the beginning. This is well worth reading. Also, Bren McClain was kind enough when I wrote to her telling her my thoughts on her book to write me back and agree to offer a Zoom program. So if you're interested in reading this, and I hope you are, we are going to have an author talk with this author, Bren McClain. She has won the 2017 Willie Morris Award for Southern Fiction, as well as the 2019 Patricia Wynne Award for Southern Literature, and many others that I haven't even listed or mentioned. It's a beautiful story. It's heart-wrenching, it's moving, it is folkloric in many ways, fairy tale-ish, Southern Gothic. It's got lots of flavors, and I love her writing style. It's great to listen to. I only missed a little bit about the voices when I listened to it rather than reading it, but she does an amazing job narrating it as well. So certainly didn't feel lost. I just didn't realize that the typeface changed with the different narrations. Anyway, highly recommend it. I could go on and on. One Good Mama Bone, written by Bren McClain. I hope you'll check it out. Thank you so much for listening. Stay well, take care, and we'll tell you soon what's new at the Radford Public Library.